Well, hello. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, my gosh. It is the Eric Zane Show podcast once again from the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker Studio. Thank you so much. I am in an exceptional mood. Let me get this out of the way first. Dear Meathead, I need questions for Dear Meathead. That's the segment each week where we bring along my wonderful 88-year-old father, and you ask him questions. I think I have maybe one. Looks like Matt Kuiper sent one along. Okay, so there you go. If you have a question for Dad on Dear Meathead, he would, of course, love to hear from you. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. And off we go. So this show begins. And let me just tell you, I carved out the time yesterday to sit down. I had an hour and 40 minutes of telecast of Better Call Saul. I'm so happy. I am so pleased at how this went. 2 for 2 now on shows made by Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould in terms of wrapping it up. No one wraps a show up better than these two. First Breaking Bad, now Better Call Saul. The nicest, neatest bow, all loose ends accounted for, a finite ending. It is over and done with, and excellent, absolutely excellent. Nothing ridiculous in any way, shape, or form. Just absolutely perfect storytelling from beginning to end. And I honestly finished, and not like I finished like sexually. I mean, I probably could have finished sexually because it was so good. But I finished the show, and I was like, wow, that's it. That is fantastic. So rarely does that happen. I mean, I talked at length with you in the last couple of days about how, crawling to the finish line is that horrible way that it goes most of the time. I still can't figure out how people can do that, be so excellent at pulling you in. And it's almost like they're punking you on purpose. Let's get everybody wrapped up in the show, and then we're going to sabotage it and make it shitty, and no one will like the ending or the final season. I mean, Ozark, that's the latest one of my crosshairs. That whole final season, dragging on. Why are you doing this to me? You could just feel the momentum leaving. It's like, what the fuck? All this time and energy I've put into this fucking show, and you assholes. Oh, God. Man, it really. I remember when the final season of Ozark came out, and Ding Dong, Bill Simonson, huge. Oh, that is such a great. And I thought, he's going on and on about how great it is. I hadn't yet watched it. I was like, well, that's exciting. I'm actually happy to hear that, because then I'm looking forward to actually watching it. I'm extremely picky with my shows, because Aram says, what show had a bad ending? Game of Thrones, Dexter, and Ozark were great. Ooh, no. Well, I didn't see Dexter. And Game of Thrones and Ozark were not great. Okay? I don't know why. You need you're not that's too bad. I probably should not have a conversation about television with you, because you're so wrong. Oh God. Yeah. Game of Thrones was great. Are you crazy? Come on. As soon as they got away from the books, which they had no choice, because the idiot who wrote the books stopped writing. It's not finished, so they had to choose their own ending, and it just sucked. Hang on. Ozark was just dragged. Thank you, Amanda. Ozark ending ranks with Sopranos. Worse, though, in my opinion. Ozark dragged and dragged and dragged the whole season. Not Saul. No way. No way. No how. No spoilers here. But it absolutely was just fantastic. And I'm excited because two people I know, because of me going on and on and on about the show, have picked it up. Kind of. Kenny is so far behind. He's always been like one of these, hey, I've never seen Breaking Bad. I'm like, oh, my God, dude, what the fuck? How could you not? And he finally has jumped on board and now is losing his shit with episode after episode. And he's like, yeah, man, you were right. This is great. I'm sitting here putting in the miles on the treadmill. And this is fucking awesome, man. Walter White's a badass. Ow! Ooh. And then Stevie, who at one point was like, Saul sucks. I was bored one episode. And it was like, come on. Stick with it. Let it unfold. Stick with the show. Okay? And now she's like, whoa, yeah, I love it. Sorry, Stevie doesn't sound like Maureen. Hi, handsome boy. I want to see Saul all the time.
Hi, handsome boy. When can I meet that guy?
I want to see Saul all the time.
I want to see O'Neill all the time.
Jason Mace says, worst ending ever was Terra Nova on Fox. If you say so. Season ended on a cliffhanger and then never came back. LMAO. That does happen. That does happen. Shit, man. I invested a lot of time into the film, Netflix series Mindhunter. And then he bailed on it. It's like, come on, man. I was loving that. I was just loving that show as much as, I love true crime and based on real stories, real serial killers. Megan with another gem. Worst ending ever. Lost. Yeah, that sucked. Oh, my God. I would say most shows I've watched have sucked. Most shows I've watched have sucked. Lost was so bad that I barely remember. I just remember some weirdo, I think his name was Ben, turning a crank, and then the island would spin around or something like that. And then it was really cold down there where the crank was. That's about all I remember from Lost. And then it was all a blur. I was so pissed with how that thing went. It just stunk. Kenny says they might have bad endings, but it's the worst. Hey, they might have bad endings, but it's the worst thing ever when a show gets canceled and people who were watching it get no ending. You're darn right. All right. I went and actually I'm continuing to watch now El Camino. So again, if you've never done this before, start with Breaking Bad, watch the film El Camino, and then go watch. You can even watch El Camino while you're watching Better Call Saul. It's just I'm raving. Someone said Vince Gilligan, the writer of Breaking Bad and Saul, and the writer-director, said that he put out a show called Battle Creek, 1 season, 13 episodes, but I don't think anybody watched the thing. But I love the way that guy makes TV. Tyler, who's dumb, says you can skip El Camino. Ridiculous. All right. Really, really awesome. And then I saw AMC promoted that Bob Odenkirk, who plays Saul, And Giancarlo Esposito, who plays Gus Fring, will be featured in 2 new series coming up on AMC, which might be great, but it might not, because I don't think that Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould have anything to do with it. What I love about this show was the writing. The writing was and the creative way they work everything in. It's just excellent. I know I'm blathering on and on about this, but the show did not let me down, and I've talked about it long enough that, damn it, I wanted to spend time trying to get more and more of you watching these shows so that I can have somebody to talk to. I'm actually very, very excited because now Kenny is seeing things on Breaking Bad that I saw years ago, and he's like, holy shit, that part. And I'm like, yep, oh my God. So then I have these little conversations with him. Okay, once again, dear Meathead, I need questions. I had one question from Matt Kuipers. I'll read to my dad. I have a group of friends at work that used to go by a certain name. A bunch of them quit, and now the people that are still at work don't want to be associated with that name. Should I tell them to suck it up and use the name, or should he just drop it and think of a new name? Yeah, that's going to confuse him, Matt. I understand what you're shooting for there, but that's far from the word I like to use is pithy. Okay? No big deal. So I might, Matt, I love you, but I might not even use that one. So now we have 0. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. This may be the shortest version of Dear Meathead ever. He's going to be here in 45 minutes, and I have no questions from you. So I don't know. Maybe this is just me calling my dad to tell him that this is the last time we're ever going to do this, because anyone who wants to participate has either left or does not want to participate anymore. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm going to break your heart. But the audience is obviously in a take mood, no give, and that's how it's going to be, Dad. I'm going to break his heart because of you. So 44 minutes till Dear Meathead happens. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too much. Is there nothing going on in your lives that makes you, that you can just send a one-line question off, Eric at ericzaneshow.com, for this poor man who lives to do this segment? Are we doing my show again? I had a conversation with him yesterday, and it was like this. Yeah, Dad, I'm just painting. Oh, I hate painting. It's not so bad once you get going. What are you painting? I go, I'm painting a bedroom. And a bedroom and a closet. He goes, inside or outside? And I hear Joanne laughing in the background. And I go, well, inside. I mean, I'm not going to say, yeah, hey, let's go. Hey, I'm getting ready to go to bed. I'm just going to go outside into the bedroom. And he laughed. I think he realized his brain is sometimes a little crispy. Eric at ericzaneshow.com if you have a question for Dad on Dear Meathead. Okay, now, for you folks on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, it's time to send you off out the door. Actually, before I do that, I need to tell you this story. So, just as a throwaway moment, Daisy's in here. That's great. I better, hold on a second. I got to call Pooh.
Hello?
Yeah, Daisy barged her way in here. Can you grab the door for me? I could have just done it instead of calling you, but you know, I'm kind of in a groove here. She just hits the door with her head.
Oh my God.
Okay.
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 I'm on my way.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm gonna...
Queen of the Forest. Kyler sent me a text. He copied the world famous Kevin Kuipers. He sent me a text of our pal Free Beer. I didn't say anything bad about the picture. I swear to God I didn't. It's a nice picture. It's a picture of Free Beer cutting his wedding cake with his new bride. And it's a cake that has the husband and wife are donuts on top, and then there's 6 little donut holes around them because they each have 3 kids. So, all right, I actually thought that was pretty cute, and the cake looks great, and everybody looks fantastic. I said this all on the podcast, on the Patreon. And the reason why I brought it up is because Kyler sent me the fucking picture. And then he wrote something silly that I don't want to repeat about this lady. I don't know who she is. I know her name because I've heard it mentioned, but I don't know her. He said something ridiculous that I'm not going to say, you asshole. And then Kuipers says, she looks 20. She does. She's young. I mean, there's no question. Free Beer outkicked the coverage. Well, okay. Then I took that picture. I cropped out the little kid. There's some kid in there. And then all I did was to the 250 people that follow me on Patreon, I posted that picture. Whatever. Sometimes I just post pictures. Sometimes I just post pictures on there for no apparent reason. I didn't say anything about the picture. I wrote, Patreon starts at noon or something like that. That's it. Within seconds, somehow someone takes that and runs over to the Free Beer and Hot Wings Reddit. And I didn't even know about this until well after the fact. And someone known as Big Sun 5267, who I guess is on Patreon, I don't know, wrote, how to promote your Patreon when the high point of your career ended after you got fired from the only radio show people cared about you on. And that's all the person wrote. So this goes ape shit. Everybody freaks out. And these are all the people that have spent the greater part of their days just attacking that whole show for whatever reason. Their audience has, similar to mine, has turned on them. Well, now they're not turned on them because all this guy had to do had to insinuate that I was doing something rude and insulting. And holy shit, it blows up. And these people just start killing me. Oh, my God, saying the meanest, I'm a creep, and this is the worst thing ever. And, oh, Jesus. I discovered he had a podcast last year and decided to give it a listen since I liked when he was on the show. Figured it may be a little different thing. I was about 5 podcasts in. I couldn't deal with the cringe. His first podcast just reeks of desperation, and I'm sure he was buzzed while doing it. I felt pity for the guy, but seeing him attempt to bully the FBHW guys via social is just petty and annoying, especially since many of the crew have brought up therapy and how tough COVID was on them mentally. Oh, well. Oh, my God. This guy wrote, yeah, he's shit, but he is definitely 100% sober. I apologize for that. It sounded like you had a drink or two before the first podcast. I'll make an appropriate edit. I don't give a shit. This one. I remember when Anthony Cumia got fired and Zane practically danced around the studio about it. He said something to the effect of, good luck making a podcast in your mom's basement or something like that. Now dude can barely get by without the sponsorship help of oil change places and HVAC repair guys. What a I need my glasses. What a fucking hump. All right. Didn't think he could sink any lower after interviewing Joe's ex-girlfriend, but apparently he hasn't reached the bottom yet. Oh, fuck. This is all Kyler's fault. The guy who started it all, Big Son 5267, wrote, yeah, he recently cannibalized the original Zaniacs to feed his newer listeners. All those people who helped him build that podcast room are no longer with him. Without any sarcasm, it was one of the smartest things he's done since the podcast started.
You got the big boss dick because I know you want to hear it.
Same guy writes, this has been my fun for the day. Whenever Zane reads this thread, you're welcome for the content. Thank you. Please donate my commission to Idiots for Underdogs. And I wrote, well, now that's something we can all get behind. I salute you. Zane's a sad moron who needs to get a real job. I don't know. I kind of like the job I have. This is great. How about this one? It's not just pathetic. It's literally all he has. He's burned every bridge he's ever crossed in radio, got himself blacklisted, so now can only do a podcast for the other sad, angry little men. Ladies, that has to bother you when this person says it. Sad, angry little men that followed him from the show. And in a desperate bid to gain even more paying listeners, he has to forcibly piggyback on the biggest thing he has ever or will ever be a part of, a mid-tier morning radio show that has all but erased him from their history. And then someone wrote, yeah, but they have him every Saturday on Pre-Beer and Hot Wings. Fine. They didn't erase him from their past. They erased him from their present. Oh, fuck. This is great. And if how about this one? If you see this, Zane, this is fucking creepy. This guy, the original poster, right? Oh, he sees this. He's reading it right now, deciding which ones to talk about on the show. We're just free content. Oh, shit. That is fucking sweet. There, let's see. After that, I wrote, correct. This guy gets it. Thanks for posting. And I'm minus 54 because the way this works is if you like the comment, you hit the up arrow. You don't like the comment, you hit the down arrow. So, most people are like plus 30 whenever they call me a fucking asshole. I'm a minus 54. So this all goes on. And this guy writes, this is like the third or fourth time recently that he's used Free Run Hot Wings as clickbait for his show. And I wrote, oh, no, I've done it way more times than that. You just missed it. All right. So that's great. And then I got banned. Well, okay. So I keep forgetting my password for these stupid Reddit accounts. So I'll make a new one. And whenever I make a new one, I get banned from their page. So Reddit finally got wise to it and said, not only are you banned from that page, but we're banning you for 3 days because you keep trying to circumvent their bannings. So I'm like, fuck. Well, now my fun's wrecked for a few days. Come on. That was great. Thank you. I'm very appreciative of that. So again, the path of Kyler to me. Thank you, Game Trickster Pizza Time rating with a pizza time is rating with a party of one. So, all right. Kyler sends the picture. He's mean about the picture. Whatever. And I just post the picture. And I on the Patreon, I said, I don't have a problem with any of this. Look at Greg. He looks fantastic. The wife is stone cold stunner. And he's cutting a wedding cake. All I did was posted the picture and said, hey, the Patreon starts in 10 minutes. It was a warning. It was like a 2-minute warning letting them know that, hey, I'm about to go live with that picture. And these people go crazy. Oh, my God. And so that's where it leaves us now. This is all Kyler's fault. Josh writes, anyone that's writing, quote, it's sad that, ... on Reddit does not understand the meaning of irony. However, as this unfolded, one of these people reached out to me and actually asked me a couple of legit questions. Someone asked me, Hans Gruber Lives asked me this. There is nothing that brings me more joy than trolling. He asked me if I like being a troll. And I said, yes. There's nothing that brings me more joy than trolling people on Reddit. I was born to do this. I would have responded on the thread, but I got blocked. And he says, okay, but why bother? And I says, well, I didn't start this one. I posted to Patreon, and someone ran to Reddit to talk about it. I didn't say anything mean to anybody. So when I saw the amount of response the post got after whoever posted about me, I joined in. I didn't attack anybody, but in addition to be fun to get people all in a huff, I benefit greatly from the chatter. And that's true. It's remarkable. There's always an immediate and massive uptick in downloads whenever this happens. Essentially, it's excellent exposure and good for business. And then this guy says, didn't you say a few months ago that you were moving past free beer and hot wings as it wasn't good for you to dwell on the past? And I answered. I said, correct. I did say that. I've kind of stuck to that. I mean, I do not listen at all. That's the big thing. Will I still make a comment here and there? Well, sure. He asked, what was the breaking point for you? And I go, concerning? More specific, please. This guy says, well, it's hard to be specific because it seems like every so often there seems to be a blow-up. And right now there's not. The thing with Steve at the grocery store, the Twitter beef, interviewing Joe's ex. And I said, well, a lot of this is done to build interest in the podcast. The grocery store thing was my old 1-week morning partner, Kyle. Wars are also good for business. The Joe thing was different, but no doubt there was benefit. It was done for a different reason, though. Ashley contacted me originally once I saw the... actually, I do not want to say that. I'm reading my own words, and I almost burgundied it. But I indicated that I could not let Joe go unchecked. Feel free to ask me anything you want. What happened between you and Freeburg and Hot Wings? Their telling of the separation and follow-up interaction seems different from yours. I wrote, well, I'm not entirely sure what they said. It was quite a while back. However, I told it like I remembered at the time, and they didn't see it that way. How do you know Joe's ex is being 100% truthful and not either embellishing or leaving things out? I responded with, well, if you recall, when I had her on, we were very careful in how we worded things. The last thing I wanted was to be sued for slander. Even if it's true, that can be very tricky. So we only talked about the things Joe and Hot Wings addressed about her and me during his meltdown. They said she faked a pregnancy and that she had battered Joe. She challenged those two things, and I believe her. She also talked to me one-on-one about many other aspects of her story that I cannot discuss. However, rest assured, what was said On the radio, there is a lot more to that. This guy says, but nothing was presented that corroborates her side. Are there texts where Joe admits doing things to her? You said you saw pics. Are they pics of Joe doing anything or an aftermath with no visual indication of how any marks were made? You'd have to admit, this person continues, after hearing you say you're done with him, you can understand why it might be hard to take what you're saying at face value, particularly in light of some obvious hard feelings. And then I wrote, well, that's kind of the territory that I shouldn't speak of, but yes, there's plenty. But we weren't going to open that can of worms publicly for the reasons I explained. I don't want to get sued. Two different things. The seriousness of that whole escapade, which her and I were thrust into, mind you, is way different than busting balls from time to time. This guy says, how were you thrust into it? Wasn't it something between her and Joe? And I wrote, yes. But he referenced me during his meltdown about being threatened with firing. He also suggested I bullied him. Some argued he didn't, but he did. That's how I saw it. So I was actually appreciative that he wrote that. And again, this all goes back to Kyler. I blame him for everything. Kyler started all of this, and it's hilarious. Logan with a horrible comment. What's the over-under on how many months till the next FBHW divorce? That's funny, though, all right? That actually is funny. We can actually pass the hat around and throw in guesses. I do think that the current marriage, I am of the opinion that is going to end horribly. I can't shake it. It seems to me that Greg would have rushed into that. And, oh, boy. Jesse says, get a VPN and make a new account, LOL, to get on Reddit. I just got to wait 3 days. I'll be back in business. Adam says, I hope it does not happen. Who's still married? Well, Freebeer's married now. And Steve is still married. Okay. Thank you if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can, of course, download the audio of this podcast wherever you download shows. And if you want the show uninterrupted, you got to go to Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Now we have 1, 2, 3. Look at all these questions for Dear Meathead. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, I'll send you on your way now. Thank you.